Big changes could be coming to North Carolina for homeowners. The North Carolina Rate Bureau is considering increasing insurance of an average of 42%, making the cost of insurance in North Carolina even more steeper than the national average. In this video here today, I'm not just going to talk about the problems that's arising with this situation. I'm going to bring some solutions to you, so you definitely want to stay to the end. Now, if you're new to me and this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. But also, if you are thinking about or considering relocating to the area in North Carolina in general, I am a realtor here. So if you do have any questions or need feedback or just need assistance on that end, just reach out. I know I stated that the North Carolina Rate Bureau is considering an average of 42% increase all across North Carolina. And I said considering specifically because this is just a proposal. It is not already set in stone. This is something that is in the works. And in fact, this is a process that happens quite often. I think this time around though, it caught a lot more attention and eyeballs than expected. To put the process in perspective though, I do want to share with you that the NC Rate Bureau does not represent the people of North Carolina at all. They actually represent the insurance company. So they're only looking at it, in my personal opinion, from their bottom line of how they can maintain and keep this thing going, whereas the Department of Insurance for North Carolina is more representative of the people and looking out for, I would say, the North Carolinians' best interest. So if you have any concerns, I'll share with you a little bit later in this video of how you can reach out or where you should go and how you can keep up to date with what is going on with this, because this could impact your decision on whether you're considering Raleigh or not. However, you may be thinking, well, why is this even happening in the first place? I will say I'm not quite sure of the definitive answer of that. I can only make speculations from here on out. But one thing I could definitely share is, we saw what's going on in Florida. California is another big state that's been having a lot of insurance issues. And so the one thing that I think is boiling down is, we can talk about climate change all day and all night. That's always going to be a thing. But for the one thing that I could definitely see to be a dire issue of why this is coming into the forefront now is, of course, the cost of everything that has happened in the past couple of years has now trickled down to the insurance companies, and now they're like, all right, we have to make a change, because these sort of evaluations happen pretty often. Like I mentioned, the last one was actually in 2020, in which I'll share with you what happened there. But to put in perspective, the cost of claims, the cost of materials, and then the insurance companies, supposedly they have to insure themselves too. So with all that being said, all of those costs has essentially gone up for them, which now they're trickling down the cost to everyone else. So let's go ahead and see across the board in North Carolina through the different counties what type of rate increases were proposed. Taking a look at Wake County, which also includes Durham. So that's going to be, of course, not directly towards the Wake County area, but looking at that, we can see that they're already looking at a proposal of 40%. And I'm just quite interested and curious at this point, because I do some of my business in that Cumberland County, which is like that Fayetteville, and they're actually looking at an increase of 45%. Wow, what staggering numbers are those, right? The highest being towards the coast. They actually had, they're essentially being proposed to double the amount. And I believe the lowest one was 4.3 on there. I don't remember which county it was. And these are all proposed increase. This is nothing that is set in stone just quite yet. Of course, it's an ongoing process, so stay tuned. I'll try to keep you guys up to date as much as possible so you guys can see what's going on. In my personal opinion, this is one of the worst times to be proposing something like this. We're actually talking like North Carolina doesn't currently have any issues that they have to work through. Now you want to add this on top? It's like, man, in which direction are we really going? And for example, a few issues that does come top of mind immediately, housing crisis. Now, of course, that is nationwide, but North Carolina is going through it as well. Home ownership is still increasing, which is also impacting affordability. In all reality, this is just making it tougher and tougher for individuals to even get into the game. Not to mention, the cost of insurance already in North Carolina is already greater than the national average. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, properties were just reassessed in 2024. So everyone across the entire board, and at least I can speak on Wake County, has recently just been assessed new taxes. So taxes just went up too. It's like a double whammy is taking place, where making it extremely difficult for people who already own a home to maintain that, and even individuals who are potentially thinking about relocating here actually asking themselves this question: is Raleigh, or at least if North Carolina, the best place for me? And if you're still trying to figure that out, you see that number that is popping up right there. Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends, and just let me know what are your concerns, and let's see if we can walk through it. And if not, then North Carolina just isn't the place for you, and hopefully there's a better place somewhere else. But with this being in place, or at least in conversation now, and of course what's already going on, I think this has the potential to really get people to start leaving. Maybe not in the masses, but slowly but surely, individuals will start leaving for various different reasons. Maybe it's the entire state, or maybe it's just specific counties. But, this may actually start forcing people to sell. And the reason why I say all of that is because just recently, there was actually a forum, it's like a public hearing put together by the city of Raleigh to talk about all these issues. And I will say, there wasn't not one person that was happy. Not one person. And of course, you can kind of expect that when prices or costs are increasing for someone, it's like you're taking money from my pocket to distribute here. And a lot of individuals are just saying, hey, how do you expect me to maintain my home currently if you're doing all of this and I still have to work? And in fact, I found this part to be the most interesting. There were a lot more veterans that were speaking, and this caught me off guard when they mentioned they are still working to make ends meet. Granted, maybe they did their time and they're veterans, or they retired to move to North Carolina to retire, and they're still trying to find ends meet. It's one of those things where it's like, man, is North Carolina really the place to retire still, or what's really going on? One thing that I did mention earlier is this whole insurance rate increase is an ongoing negotiation. Nothing is set in stone just quite yet, but of course you can expect some sort of increase. Now, at what magnitude, at what level, I am uncertain. I wish I had involvement in these negotiations to give you guys this information, but because I'm not in those rooms, we will just have to wait and see. I could see the negotiations going on for another month or two, but something like this won't take place until at least they are expecting, right? So we shall see. But August 1st of 2024. And there are efforts being in place, at least by the insurance commissioner, to get these, to get that rate down. I know he did make a public statement recently and said that, that's his goal, is to make sure to get it as low as possible. And it is something that he did in the past. Maybe it wasn't as low as we would like it to be, but at least it wasn't what they were expecting. And when I say that, this happened before, 2020, there was a request for a 24.5, and of course they were able to negotiate it down to just about 8%. So, ideally, I think if this goes on, this whole trend, or if there is, a trend around it, if the same thing happens, you could probably expect a third, but we shall wait and see. But honestly, if you ask me, I love negotiating. This is one of those tactics that I typically use sometimes in my day-to-day. Is, we shoot a little bit higher or we shoot extremely low to see the reaction. And because of that reaction, now we kind of go back to the table and talk about it. So I don't know. I think personally, this is a negotiation tactic. And as long as, I think personally, if everyone just keeps sending in those emails, of which I'll share with you guys, emails, and just kind of share your thoughts, your concerns, your opinions on certain situations, that can help get it down to where I think it's a respectable level. However, if you feel the need to voice your concerns, I'll leave an email in the description below. However, it is imperative that you get to that email and send something out quickly, because they are only accepting emails, at least at this point in time, up until February 2nd. Of 2024. But let's just say you would just like to keep up to date with the information. I'll go ahead and drop a website as well in the description, which you can go ahead and check that out to see what's going on, if there's if there's any changes. Because there is a possibility that the insurance rates will increase. We just don't know till what. And honestly, we can't rule out the fact that the insurance companies can just drop everybody at any point in time. So I encourage you guys all to really use this time to kind of analyze the situation and try to figure out what is going to be your next step if either one of those take place. It's a painful process, but it's something that we all have to do because we got to make sure our stuff are intact in order. So I'll make sure to share with you guys this website here, which kind of talks about what are some of the best insurance companies in North Carolina. But this is your time to let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about this situation? And in fact, are you considering still moving to North Carolina or not? Because just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice and I am a licensed realtor in North Carolina, and I would love nothing more but the opportunity to be able to assist you with your relocation needs. So you see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing: I got your back in this market.